Hey, what's up guys, it's Johan, and on this video I'll be doing a quick little update about the tank. As you can see, a few things have changed. I got the lights working and all that, so let's go ahead and look into the tank, what's changed a little bit, and then we'll go down in the sump and see what three different things I've added into the tank as well. Alright. Alright, so first thing that have changed for me is the amount of growth that I've been getting. So if we go in here and look at my little Euphyllia garden, all my Euphyllias have grown an extra 2 or 3 heads. Remember when they first started off with these 2 Harmonic corals that's up front, they started with 4 heads, now they're up to 7 heads. And this the frog spawn that's in the back, that is up to 3 heads instead of 2. And also, as you can see, my one little clownfish right here has taken up residence in the frog spawn, and he's using it as an anemone. He's actually protecting it, or I should say she is protecting the entire area. Any fish that comes by, she goes after them. These fuzzy mushrooms, I haven't seen that much growth or any change in those. They've kind of shrunk up a little bit because I have the flow up, but they've just remained the same. The Emperor, he's starting to get all his colors, so you can see the yellow. He just swam away, but you can see all the yellow on his patterns on him so I had it from since he was juvenile, and he's about maybe 4 inches now. And my Niger trigger, everything looks the same about him, nothing changed. If you guys saw my last video, I have added the 2 flagfin angels. Those guys are in there, they're doing quite fine. The Emperor angel still goes after them, but everything else is fine. Did add my lights on the right side of the tank. I'm just gonna do a comparison to see if black box light versus my light, if there's anything in difference. But for the most part, all the corals I put over there, like this torch that was in my 20 gallon nano, is doing fine here. I would expect it to go fine. It's just the lights I'm testing it under. I have a small Monty Power frag that I'm working on just to see what it looks like. I think this is a bird's nest coral, I'm not 100% sure, but it's one of those things that's just testing. And then if we swing back over to the Monty Power section, yeah, I do have a lot of hair algae, but it's cool as long as I can control it. Usually it dies back a bit. And I did add something to the sump, so we'll go down there in a little while and see what I've done to try to combat the amount of hair algae that's in my aquarium. So if you look at this, so another place I've seen growth are on my Monty Powers. So if you look at this frag right here, that stuff is a little tiny frag about the size of my fingernail. It does have some hair algae on it, that's cool. You can see that it has encrusted rock. Same for this piece right here. It's starting to encrust, and you're starting to see the white rim around it. And then same for this piece right here, it's already started encrusting rock. And what really, these 2 small pieces, they started maybe the size of a tiny pebble, and they almost encrusted over the frag plug. They actually started touching each other, so that's totally that's what actually I start seeing all the growth from. So now let's head down to the sump. Alright, so here we are down in the sump. I have added a few things just to beef up my filtration system, because it was, 1, really noisy, and then 2, as you can see, there's a whole lot of hair algae in the tank. That's what really I beefed up. So one of the first things I did was this, if you could see in the left right there, that filter floss at the top. I changed that out every 2 days now instead of every week. And then right below it, I added a media basket with some ceramic media. It's actually not ceramic media, it's actually some media used for hydroponics. I did some research and found that it was fine with reef tanks. Then I added to the tank. I tested the pH with some arrow water first, and the pH didn't rise. The only difference was some TES that raised up, so I had to make sure I rinsed it out in some arrow water for about 5 times, and then the TDS remained at 0, and then I added it to the reef tank. The next thing I have here is my protein skimmer. This one is a Terminator. It started off as a Terminator 2 protein skimmer. I can't remember the company. I think it's D&D but it started off as a Terminator 2. I was going the cheap way. It came off without a pump for $36, and I'm a DIY guy, as you guys know, so I did a little bit of tweaking. I changed a whole lot of things around, cut some parts out that I think I didn't need, and now I have it with 2 kneelable impeller pumps, 2 J-ball pumps, and I think that works pretty well. If you go at the top, and then the amount of skimate it collects, and this is only 3 days of skimate, so it's working pretty well now that I have added the kneelable impellers and tuned it the way I wanted to. And let's move over to the next section. This sump is a little small, so the only part for refugium will be this little 6-inch section, so that wouldn't be enough for a proper refugium. So what I do have is algae scrubber. I used to run it during the same time as my lights are on and off at night, as a 12-hour schedule, but recently I've been letting it run 24 hours, and that was probably one of the best things I've done, is letting it run 24 hours for 2 weeks straight. The amount of growth that I got on that the algae sheet was about half an inch thick on both sides, so about an inch worth of algae that was growing. So that turf scrubber is really kicking butt. It's just 2 let's move over here a little bit. It's just 2 flat panel LED Growlights that I have on here, and they work really well. I had to rebuild them a little while ago because of the water raised up too high at the bottom and got into them, but let's rebuild them and change up a couple of the LED diodes, but everything else works. And the next thing I added is over here. Recently, everybody, let me turn the light on first. There we go. So recently everyone has been doing these Cheeto reactors. So I went ahead and tried one to see what works, and if you look, there's one in the back there, and it's been working. It's been helping out the nitrates. I've always battled with high nitrates, but I've never had a problem with hair algae ever since I started in the hobby about 4 years ago. Only now I've guessed I don't have enough algae eaters in my tank, even though most of the fish in my tank are herbivores. I never had a yellow tang. I never needed to have a yellow tang. The only other fish I've had that was an algae eater was a lawnmower blenny, and he has since passed on. So with the last ache outbreak, and I'm guessing that's where everything started going downhill. So that's why I started added a Cheeto reactor to see what happens. So I have actually 2. One in the back, it shines only green. I mean all lights, so it shows up green, so it's white, red, and green. And then this one is the purple with the 3 red, 1 blue LED. So that, I'm just testing it out, see what's the best for me. I did used to run biopellets before in the past, but ever since they ran out, I never went and buy some more. I've never seen any help with the biopellets. Not sure if I was using them wrong, but I was based on the manufacturer description. That's how I was using them, dosing Microbacter 7 every 2 or 3 days. My schemate was a lot thicker, but I never really saw a dip in the nitrates. So for the most part, that's about it for the sump right here. So there's one more thing in this sump that I did add. I've been running for a little while, so if you could see the bubbles right there, I'm running some nano bubbles. So first chamber comes up and then it overflows in the second chamber, and then it gets sucked up into the main display. I only run it at night, just as the chill reactor. They come on at night, they're on the same timer, so that when I don't see during the day and the fish are sleeping, because my emperor angel doesn't like bubbles at all. I think it gets in his gills or something, I don't know, but he doesn't like it when the bubbles come out. He basically hides. So I run at night when he's sleeping. I don't think the other fish mind or care about it, because I have run it for an entire day just to see whether it was taken out of the tank. But I only run at night just for my emperor angel. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So here is my 20-gallon nano. A couple of things have changed, not too much. I let this tank just go as it is. Only thing that's changed is a couple of things I moved around, as like coils and frags. Taking out some of my torch coil, I fragged that. Put a piece in the back and the other piece in the main aquarium. This hammer I left it as is because it's doing perfect here. Then I need to clean that up right there. That's my couple frags of zoanthids and polyps. And poly, sorry. That's just chilling in the aquarium, and they're doing pretty fine. The only thing is this right here. This started off as, I think it's a Hollywood stunner with the burgundy color and then green eyes or green polyps. This completely stripped because it was in the main display, and then the emperor was eating it on it. So I moved it to this tank just to give it some time to heal. It never really healed up, but now it's white with green polyps. So the green polyps, I'm not sure if you guys can see it. This camera doesn't pick it up at all, but it's white with green polyps, and I thought it was completely dead, but the polyps are still alive. They still eat, so I'll just roll with it. This tank, I don't really do too much with it. I just let it roll. There's hair algae in here. I'm not sure how it got in here. Probably when I added a frag from the main display into this tank, hair algae basically took off, but I've never tried to remove the algae. I'll just let it grow on its own, because all I do for this tank is just have a canister filter that just circulates the water, and I have some like ceramic media in there, and I clean it every 6 months or so. I probably should clean it more than that, but the only thing that's in here is one fish and a couple frags of coral. Just letting it go on its own. I do a water change every 3 months or so, and that's just to replenish anything that's being absorbed by the tank. And then I do have that protein skimmer combo that I did a video on, power filter protein skimmer combo. But that's pretty much it for this tank. There's nothing too big. Let me see if the clocky will come out. I guess not. She usually comes out when I knock the tank, but oh well. Alright guys, that pretty much does it for this update. I'm gonna go ahead and feed these guys and then call it a day for now.